Hello everyone and welcome to the FPL Armband. I'm Chris. Kieran is here too, as always. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. We're back after a few weeks off. We hadn't done a show since before Game Week 29.
Yeah,
So
we hadn't planned to be off, but just
no
shit happens.
computer issues. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, but we're back now, and we're back at like a middle of chip season. It feels like
Yep.
everything's been played. Game Week 32. There's going to be triple captains, maybe bench boosts. Assistant managers will be in play. So it's a good time to catch up.
Squeaky bum time for sure.
It is squeaky
Yeah.
bum time. Well, should we dive? Oh, let's have a catch up actually first and talk about what happened in last game week, and then we can go into game week 32. Right, let's bring up your scores first. It's been a little bit different.
Uh,
Our scores on the screen as well.
yeah. So I got 64, played
Mhm.
the AM just like you. You convinced me of this strategy. And yeah, been into it. Yeah, I did a wild card the weekend before. So yeah, 64 points with O'Shea. I played O'Shea
Look
over
at that.
the Agbadu, the Wolves guy, because obviously
Mhm.
Gabriel was injured. Not got rid of Gabriel yet, but played O'Shea. I was kind of he got that sort of assist early on, and I was thinking, oh, maybe they're going to get a clean sheet here, and he's going to be an absolute haul, and that would be incredible. But wasn't to be. But yeah, Pope coming with a cleaner as well.
Mhm.
Vardiol points two in a row now of good clean sheets and some bonus for Vardiol this week. And yeah, obviously the main guy this week was obviously Murphy with the 16. Palmer being benched, didn't see coming. Saka being
No.
benched again, not great. Yeah, captain on Isak going for the Monday night, I thought was going to be really good considering, yeah, he obviously started and everyone else blanked, all the big sort of captains. And shame really. But at least they had Murphy and Mateta picking up some points there too. And then obviously, yeah, Frank I went for the table bonus, and yeah, you did as well, obviously. But
Yeah.
yeah, 10 points, decent. 0-0. Unfortunate not to just grab a goal and get us into really good figures. But yeah, probably spoilers for later. Glasner this week for the big upside chase.
Oh, for sure. I tell you what, man. Like I said to you on Sunday, the stress of the AM chip because went to check the score and it was about the 90th minute. Brentford Chelsea, and it was still 0-0. And I was thinking, if Chelsea score now, Frank's going to get a 0-pointer, but if Brentford score, it's a
Yeah,
20-pointer. It's so swinging.
yeah,
And
indeed.
I think we had I had this chip strategy for us played out because we did triple captain in 2025 or 24, can't remember, when Salah went
Or
crazy.
24, I think.
20,
Yeah.
oh yeah, 24. And didn't do it. I didn't play the assistant manager in 25, and then I kind of like the idea of back-to-back doubles. And up until game week 30, with sort of that Brighton Aston Villa game, I was primed and ready to go Emery, and that would have been that nice table bonus game at home against Nottingham Forest. So that sort of threw the assistant manager chip into doubt. But I think
Yeah,
10
they won that
points.
as well, right? So you would have done
Yeah, but
pretty,
Bright exactly. So I think it
but
would have.
it wasn't bonus, right? Is that right?
No, it wasn't bonus, but it
Yeah.
would have
Okay.
been. It
Yeah.
would have been if not for that Brighton game. And the same, I think if Brighton had also won, it may have made Glasner have another bonus game as well against Brighton. So yeah, results
Yes.
didn't quite fall for that. But you're right in terms of how AM performed last week for us. I think 10 was pretty decent. I think Harry got more, but he's obviously more expensive.
Yep.
So yeah, it was all right. Right, let's talk about my team actually. Talking about this, yeah, like you played the wild card in game week 30, which is always the plan. I think the only thing which has not gone well is obviously Gabriel's injury, and Arsenal's double defence in the league has not been it. And I sort of
Yep.
kept double Arsenal defence instead of getting Gvardiol because I didn't fancy Man City's defence, but obviously he's got like 15 points in 2 weeks, and my defenders have not done that. So yeah, with him out, it
Yeah.
looks a bit meh. But I've already got rid of him this week. And sorry, yeah, the points I captained at Isak. Similarly, Murphy was my big point scorer. Burn with clean sheet. I didn't really get many returns, and it was just Frank
Yeah,
that
the big difference is Vardy, wasn't it?
boosted.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And I played the Wolves guy as well. So yeah, all right. Let's jump on to the preview for game week 32, and I think it's going to be a difficult one to talk about, to be honest, because I think so many teams are going to be quite template, and you can see from the top transfers in this week. I think a lot of people are going to end up having roughly the same double game week players. So it
Yeah.
probably, we'll talk about them, but also maybe some outside picks that might be useful.
Do you think if people are looking at bench boost and thing and triple captain, do you think it's a better week to bench boost this week or the next week? Obviously, there's double next week with the Arsenal fixtures. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think Arsenal's victory last night has made it much more difficult to bench boost this week because you could see any number of players getting benched now. Even Saliba's probably not safe. Even though they've got such a good lead, it'd be madness to play players in a fairly meaningless game against Brentford. The league's probably gone.
Sure.
They're pretty safe in second. They could rotate quite heavily like they did against Everton and maybe even more so and just make sure they go through in the Champions League. So I think if you're sitting on maybe one or two Arsenal players, I just don't think this is the week to bench boost anymore. And the same for people might have Villa players as well, and I kind of think the same for with them as well.
For sure.
We don't
So you think triple captain Isak is probably the right
Yeah.
week? I'd guess.
Well, I think so. I mean, I suppose if you've still got your triple captain chip left, the only other potential is this possible game week 36 where Man City may have one, Villa may have one, Crystal Palace may have one, depending on the FA Cup results, and that could be good. I just think
It depends if Haaland's back, maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't think he will be, right? And then
Marmoush would
you're
be
gonna do
the
it on
best
Marmoush,
shout.
maybe. So it probably is Isak this week. I think is probably the best chance you've got left, to be honest.
What do you think
if he's looking for a double?
His form and the minutes, though, I mean, I was going to talk about just general captaincy this week a bit later, and I think you need a big sofa this week if you don't captain him. But his minutes or lack of.
I think I saw something say that Howe said that he's 100% now and there's no reason to hold him back from now on. So they have been sort of monitoring him and giving him less minutes, but apparently he's now 100% and he's ready to just go from now on. But is that going to stop them taking him off early for Wilson? Probably not.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I had a look at when I was doing the notes just to see if he was unequivocally the best captaincy choice, and he's owned by 60%, so you are just going so hard against the tide if you don't go there. But I
saw people talking about Murphy triple captain just because he had one big haul. It's like, come on, no, don't be silly. He's basically outscored him once in however many times. It seems a bit ludicrous to do that, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like he's you play with the penalty, or you have the penalties with Isak, and he
for sure.
Over the season he's probably had the majority of chances. But there is some interesting numbers about Murphy in a minute. But just quickly on Isak's minutes or lack of, like I mentioned, he's playing. I think he's played 93 times. I've got it up on screen now. He's played 3 times since game week 19. He's played 85 and 86 a couple of times in there. But yeah, the last 3, 78, 65 and 71. And obviously the away game against Liverpool he missed with that injury. But I think more interesting with that, he's played 6 games since game week 24 and he's blanked in 4 of them. So it's not like his form is red hot either for a triple captaincy. And I think that the Palace game is difficult on paper, and I don't think he'll haul in that one. The Manchester United game is definitely the easier of the two, and he did return in the away game against that. But I don't know. I don't know if I see a huge mega haul this week for Isak.
Yeah, I probably agree slightly. But is there a better option? I don't know. So if you want to talk about Murphy, if you want to sell it,
I don't know if he's a better triple captaincy option. I feel like maybe if you're not doing Isak this week, then save it and maybe do Marmoush or maybe a Villa or Crystal Palace player, depending on who gets that extra double in 36. But yeah, Murphy has been outperforming Isak recently. So in the last 6 game weeks, thanks to that haul, he's now the highest scoring player, points per game average. And even in the show we talked about way back in...
What, of all players was that?
Yeah, of all Newcastle players. Yeah, he's the highest scoring. Players. But yeah, even in the last show, I think we talked about how when he and Gordon have played together, he's outscored him when they've been on the pitch together. So it's not probably a fluke that he's doing well now. It just so happened that he had a pop-off game against Leicester, which lots of people seem to be doing at the moment. But yeah, 4 big chances, XG of 3 and expected assists of 0.5 in the last 6 games. That's the most of any Newcastle player, and that's per appearance. So he is kind of a captaincy shout this week if you're based on that, but based on the underlying numbers, but I think it's hard to bring yourself to captain Murphy over Isak. XGI is highest of all Newcastle players too, so it's not a fluke that he's returning these numbers. He's just genuinely playing well at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And more minutes than Isak too.
Yeah, it just takes one penalty and then you're down the shitter.
Yeah,
I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think for play like sort of people like us who are playing AM and not looking at like any triple captaincy or anything like that, I think it's just probably best to play it safe because we're obviously risking it on the assistant manager, I suppose. Yeah. So yeah, it's probably play it safe on Isak, isn't it?
Definitely. And then otherwise, I think it's hard to really go too punty on Newcastle, but Barnes is probably the only other one outside the sort of the main names who is a differential. So he's under 2% owned, 5.9 million. Could be like a nice pick if someone's, I don't know, unlikely but playing a free hit chip or doing a bench boost and wants to get another Newcastle player on there. In the last 6 game weeks, he's hogged the shots in the box for Newcastle with 14. The next closest is Isak on 9. Gordon is still out, according to Howe, and in each of the last 3 games, he has returned, played 90 minutes twice and has 78 minutes. So I think Barnes is maybe perhaps under the radar as a pick, like his transfers in compared to Murphy are, night and day different. But yeah, if you're looking for an alternative to that double Newcastle defence where I don't think they're going to get 2 clean sheets across the 2 games, he's quite a nice punty option. What do you think?
Yeah, don't mind him at all. Yeah, if Gordon is out, then yeah. If Gordon even is back, like maybe he doesn't start straight away anyway. So yeah, it seems pretty risk free to be honest.
No, I quite like it. And then just on the defence as well, like you and I have both got different Newcastle defenders, and it's obviously typical that now Livramento just like showed up and owned us both with that 11-pointer against Leicester, and Shaw hitting the crossbar with a shot as well. I just think, oh god, they're all going to get points. But yeah, since game week 26, Livramento, who's when I made these notes, 6.8%, so still a big differential for this double game week. He's averaged more big chances created and had a higher expected assist rate than Trippier. Trippier has been getting subbed early, so I suppose if they've got the clean sheet like locked in at that point, that's not a bad thing to have. But I think even with the money difference, I'm just bringing up his numbers now, I just don't think there's any reason to go for Trippier over Livramento. Like the underlying data is that as with Hall, most of their attacks are coming down that left-hand side, and Trippier is definitely less influential than he has been. So yeah, I think he's more likely than the more likely player to return, really.
Yeah, I kind of wish I went there as well. Seems kind of obvious now. I guess I was a little bit worried about Mins-ish, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, I hadn't really seen him doing too much in the attacking sense. So yeah, is what it is, I guess. Just if you've got him, then happy days, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. I was the same, really. I was looking at his minutes and thinking, oh, there's a chance that he might get rotated, and perhaps Burn will just offer similar value, and Burn probably gets enough chances from a corner than as Livramento will get an open play from a cross. And I think that was his first assist of the season against Leicester. So it's not even like he's been under the radar prolific this season. So yeah, maybe it'll change up in the double game week. But again, don't mind either of them. But then just on the prospects for this game week and who Newcastle are facing, that in the last 6 game weeks, Man United are 5th worst for XG, so you kind of expected a clean sheet there, whereas Palace is 2nd best. So I do think that Palace is likely going to score. United 10th for expected goals conceded, and Palace 2nd best as well. So it's obviously the Crystal Palace is the tougher game of the two. I think if Newcastle are going to haul in this double game week, it's going to be because of what they do in that game on Sunday against Man United.
Yeah, those are good numbers for Palace for the AM prospects, hopefully. So just hopefully it goes well in that scenario.
Well, I could made note on it. If you're actually basing the result of this game on the expected XG or the actual XG and the XGC of the two teams in the last 6 game weeks, Palace would be coming into this with like much better recent form, and Newcastle at home have actually not been that good recently. So they've won games, but they've conceded a lot of goals. I'll just bring up Burn on screen. So in the Brentford at home game, they obviously conceded that penalty, looked a bit shaky. Forest at home, they conceded 3 goals. They lost against Fulham 2-1, and then previously before that, they'd lost against Bournemouth 4-1. So in their last 4 home games, they've actually conceded 10 goals. Stretch back a bit further, and they've beaten Wolves and Aston Villa 3-0 each. But yeah, the recent form is not as strong.
Mateta captain? Anyone?
Oh, I've written.
I mean, with Nketiah out,
Yeah.
he's probably got to play more minutes. You'd think, especially at least one of them.
Yeah,
So
I don't mind.
I mean,
don't mind it.
wait, it's Man City away and Newcastle away. It's pretty tough, but yeah, their form is showing that he could be an option.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think Mateta's not a bad shout at all. And then finally, Howe, assistant manager. I think it's worth us talking about this a little bit because a lot of people have started with Howe last week or are contemplating switching. So he's obviously in the top tier price, which is I think is a bit of a pain, really. 1.5 million. So
yeah, it is a lot.
So yeah, he needs to.
I would have thought you'd be one.
Yeah,
like 1.5 does seem a lot for Howe.
I agree. I think when you've got, I think the pricing is it 1 and then 1.2. It might even be 0.8 and then 1.2.
I'm not even sure, honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, I think he's quite expensive. So he needs to justify that extra. And like I said, in the last 4 games, they've conceded 10 goals. So I don't think you can count on the 2 sets of clean sheet points. That said, they're probably favourites to win both games. So I kind of think 12 points at a minimum, maybe 18 points at a maximum is where I'd pitch this. That's either a win or 2 wins and a win and a draw with some goals in there. Do you think that sounds about right for Howe?
So is that for this week plus the double afterwards, or
no? That's just for this game week. That's just for what I'm expecting game week 32.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
I mean, if you look at some of his scores, he's hit double figures twice, but in his home games so far since the chip's been available, he's scored 8, 10, and a 1. So yeah, I think I do think the Palace game is going to be tougher, but 12 to 18 points. I'm kind of guessing. Do you think he's a good investment for assistant manager, Chip? I know we're probably, you and I are probably not going there, but if you had that extra budget,
I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, considering the double afterwards is pretty good too. What is it, Villa and Ipswich? So,
that's Arteta.
No, they don't have one. Sorry, I just have to cough. I was thinking they had a double for some reason. It's only Palace that do, don't they?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't mind it. It's just see what they can do. They can pretty much afford anyone for the week after because they still have it active. So, yeah, it seems totally fine. To be honest, 12 to 18 seems like a safe bet, and you're probably expecting at least that. To be honest, so yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Should we have a chat about just some single game week picks just to break up the double ones, and then perhaps we can have another chat about Palace after that?
So. I mean, we're looking at like what 3 from Palace, 3 from Newcastle this week, and then filling up the rest of our teams. Obviously, single game week players. Ones I'm looking at. Most people probably already have him, but Palmer, 10.7 million, 40% owned. Obviously, form has pretty much left the building. His feet are not doing much good things right now. But it is a really good fixture against Ipswich at home. I think he should certainly play. Obviously, I'm guessing he'll probably play in the Europa Conference League this week, because he had that rest. So, great fixture. Last 6 weeks he's had 2, 3, 1, 0, 6, and 1. So 1 return, 1 assist in the last 6 weeks, and then 6 weeks before that was 2, 2, 6, 2, 2, and 10. So again a bit mixed. Except for Salah though, he is the highest predicted single game week player on 7.1 points. So that's obviously. There's got to be something going in his favor. I guess it's pretty much the fixture more than his form. So, Ipswich's form is pretty bad. They're pretty much nailed on as relegated now. Their XGC is 11.6 in the last 6, which is 19 for all teams. They've had 0 clean sheets in the last 6, 17 big chances conceded, and then 96 shots conceded, which is even worse than Southampton. So, and Southampton are obviously atrocious. So if they're conceding more shots than Southampton, that's clearly not a good sign. And then Palmer's stats in the last 6 are still actually really good. So XG of 3.04, which is third of all mids. 20 shots is joint first, and then 4 big chances is joint second. 4.0 XG, expected goal involvement, is first of all mids. And an XA of 0.93 is not in the top 10. However, 7 key passes, 1 big chance created, also not in the top 10. So he's good for goal threat right now. Not so good in assist potential, but like those figures for XG and things and big chances, they're looking good for him. So, I think he surely should be in most people's teams. I mean, can we bet on his sort of form still being so bad with the fixture being so good? I don't know, but he's probably in most teams already. So yeah, maybe you don't have to worry about it. To be honest, if you don't own him, he might do nothing at all. So
he's massively underperformed his expected points. So I just had a look since game week 26. His expected points were up at 28, and he's only scored 13.
Yeah, it's poor.
I think also for me, I'm looking at the fixtures. I think this is probably going to be one of 2 games that I now own him for the rest of the season, because Ipswich, I'll obviously still keep him. Fulham away in 33, I'm probably going to sell him so I get more double game week players, and Fulham away is a difficult game like Liverpool. Maybe if I do free hit in 34, I'll have him, but after that I don't think I'm buying him back for Liverpool, Newcastle, Man United and Forest to end the season. So
I agree. Yeah,
it could be the second to last time he's actually in our team this game week.
I mean, big drop off compared to last year, wasn't it? What's his total points right now? It's
still high. It's 188.
108. Yeah. So, what did he get? Like, did he get 290-ish last year? Something. It was pretty high.
244.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's got to go a bit to get anywhere near that. So he has had quite a bit of a drop off, and that's a bit of a shame. Just form right now is just not in his favour, and Chelsea's in general, I guess. We thought sort of Jackson coming back and all that sort of stuff, and his sort of rest over the international period would have helped him, but clearly not. No. So, oh well. Moving on. Merino, 6.1 million at Arsenal, 2.4% owned, so big differential. Obviously, they're still strikerless, and he has played 90 minutes in the last 6, and he played 90 in the Champions League as well last night as the false 9. So, it is hard to pick like any player in that Arsenal team right now. I would think, just due to this, Champions League, obviously amazing result they got last night. But even Saka, I think, is probably not. He's obviously, we have seen him benched twice now since he's come back, and why should he not be benched again? That could clearly happen. So. But Merino, last 6, 2, 3, 2, 9, 10, and 2, and obviously scored last night, so that's some points there. Obviously not for FPL, but yeah, his form is pretty good. His XG, however, has not actually passed 0.3 in any of those games, while his expected goal involvement has not passed 0.4. So, he isn't exactly a stats hog, but he is getting returns. So fair enough, I suppose. You can't really complain. It's sort of a Vardy-esque, I suppose. It's hard to say he's like a really good pick, but like if you're looking for someone for like, this is a good fixture this week with Brentford at home, and then they're coming into the double. So, that seems like a good time to pick him up. But like, he has played 90 in the last 6, as I said, and played 90 last night. So he probably is due a rest, and this seems like the perfect place to do it. So maybe not such a great pick, but like at the same time, like some players have to play in that team, so Merino could still play, and he's not doing as much as he would in this sort of normal role, his normal like midfield box to box kind of role. So maybe he's fine to play. Like someone's got to play, like I said. So and then another
he had his rest as well. If you go from that point against Everton, he still played 90 minutes, and he played last night.
Yeah, sure. Another one from the Arsenal team. Maybe I'm hitting up the wrong tree here of just Arsenal players this week. But Kivior at 4.8 million, 0.4% owned. So absolute massive differential. Like Timber could obviously play in centre back, like with White back. I don't know what happened to White last night. I thought White would play. So White could play centre back too. Calafiori, as far as I know, is not too far away either. But 74 and 90 minutes since Gabriel got injured, and 19 minutes in the Champions League last night and a clean sheet versus Madrid. So they're obviously still capable of keeping clean sheets with Kivior on the team. Obviously, last year he had like a big run in the team for a while, didn't he, as well? So, 5.4 XGC in the last 6, which is third best for Arsenal. 7.8 XG for Brentford, which is 12th. So they're not looking that great in attack right now. And then 13 big chances, which is 9th for Brentford right now. So, I think it's kind of should be a little bit open, but I think Arsenal defense should be on for a clean sheet or at least close to. And I think, like I said, with sort of Moreno, some of the defenders have to start, right? So, and then they don't have that many left. So why would Kivior not start this, plus all the doubles and things like that? It doesn't really seem like, to me, he seems like he's won his place. Last night probably solidified that he's won his place because he kept a clean sheet against, with Mbappe and Vinicius and Rodrigo and stuff and Bellingham. So, I think he's basically been rested all season, hasn't he? So he doesn't need rest, in my opinion. So worth a punt, I think. Like he for me is like, I've still got Gabriel. I could go to Kivior at 4.8 million, then have the money in the bank to be able to get Murphy up to Rodgers for their double.
That's nice.
Because obviously Murphy doesn't double in 33, and that seems like a perfect way to do that. So I like him as an option, like super differential, kind of low risk really at this point. And I in my team for this week, I would be playing Agbadu against Spurs. So I feel like, why not just get Kivior and just like hope for the best and play him at home to Brentford. So yeah, I like that or him as a punt. Like Timber as well, good price. Saliba I can't really afford because he's gone up to like 6.4 now, and that's just I've got nothing in the bank. So yeah, it is a lot for him right now. So, and Kivior I think got a few attacking returns in his run last year too. So quite like him. What do you think of him?
I think yeah, I like him as well because of the price. And from what I've read of Arsenal fans, seem to think when Arteta chooses his centre back partnership, he's not likely to change it. So he's obviously had the opportunity to play Timber there and White, and he hasn't done it. So I think it makes it look like Kivior is his first choice. And I think probably the way I'd look at it if it were my team is just like the possibility from now until the end of the season, because transfers are so precious. But you're right, if you're getting another Arsenal defender who you already had, they've still got good fixtures until the end of the season. You'd potentially get Brentford at home. Then we've obviously got a double game week with Ipswich and Palace. Game week 34 is their blank, so it doesn't really matter. Then you've got Bournemouth at home, which is a nice home game. Liverpool away is the tricky one, but they might have the title wrapped up by then. And then Newcastle at home and Southampton away to finish the season. So you could potentially see clean sheets against Bournemouth, Southampton, maybe Palace if they've got one eye on the FA Cup, and obviously Ipswich too if he plays that game. Brentford's a maybe because their form's good. So there's 3 or 4 good clean sheet opportunities in there.
Yeah, for my team, like I only had Gabriel. I didn't have 2. I didn't have Raya. So like I don't have any Arsenal defense right now. So he seems like someone I probably should bring in to just cover that off and include in the double that's coming up. Like if you get 2 clean sheets in that double and I don't own any of them, that's going to be really rough. So yeah, I like him.
Yeah, no, I think he's not a bad shout at all.
Cool. Shall we continue on singles or?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Okay. So Brighton players, and this is Project Target Leicester and Saints.
I love this project.
So at the moment Brighton, really crushing it attacking wise. So XG 11.9. This is the last 6 weeks again. They're first of all teams. Big chances is 27, which is first, which is 10 higher than the next team, which is crazy. And then 12 goals is also first. I think then the next team below them was on like 10, as far as I know. So yeah, they're doing everything in attack right now. But it seems just like who the hell is actually scoring those goals and those getting those points? It's just like I don't even know, to be honest. So Pedro, 5.6 million, 14% owned, 6 blanks in a row a while back. Everyone sold him. Then he gets 12, 8, and 9. And then everyone buys him again. And then he gets 1, 2, and 1. And he's also been benched in there. And so, he's a super frustrating asset. So for me, it's with him being rested last week, it's probably the week to buy him because obviously the fixture is super good. Is it Leicester again? I haven't written down.
Yeah, it's Leicester in game week 32.
Yes. Yeah, Leicester. Okay. So, I haven't got any stats on him right now, but like his minutes have been a little bit issue. But I think, he should play this week. It seems like if anyone's bench boosting this week, great for Brighton players if they've got him. Great fixture. So, Welbeck as well, 5.5 million, 5.8% owned. Yeah, he's a risky buy as well, but he did play 90 last week and he got 90 points. So he's kind of streaky, just like Pedro. And you're probably not going to get too many weeks out of him because he loves to get injured. But when he is on the pitch, he is effective, does get points. And then, trying to work out what the points have come as well. Like Minte has been benched over this time and his minutes have been all over the place and he's not really returning. I think he's had 1 assist. Matoma, his minutes are better, but there's plenty of early subs in there as well, and he hasn't actually returned since game week 26. So it's just like, who's actually been getting these goals and these points and this XG? It kind of makes no sense to me. But and then other than that, there really isn't much to look at. That Jorginho is out, injured at the moment. There's that Gruder guy. And then there's just like other randomos that you're just never going to pick in FPL. So who to pick, I don't know. But I
Yeah.
love the fixture, so
I think you'd probably still just have to pick Pedro because he is
yeah,
on pens, and
penalties, I
perhaps
guess.
because it was a quick turnaround after the international break. That's why he didn't play all the minutes against Palace. He
Yes,
played
it could have been
everything
it. Yeah.
against Aston Villa and then benching. What I would say, the reason like Brighton are definitely worth talking about, and even like I didn't mention this with Arsenal as well, is because I don't want to get too streamlined because everyone's got different chip strategies. But if people who are playing bench boost, let's say, this game week, Leicester at
Mm-hmm.
home and a cheap Pedro is a great shout. If they're playing bench boost next week, obviously Brentford away is a good shout. And if someone doesn't have a free hit, just the fact that they've got a game in game week 34 and it's against West Ham at home, that's great as well. So I think there's a lot to like from that upcoming like block of 4 fixtures, and even that
For
Wolves
sure.
away game after that. So yeah, Brighton obviously still got something to play for. They're on the cusp of sort of European football, Champions League now up to 5th place. So I think there's a lot to like about Brighton at the end of the season, and it obviously starts this game week, and it's been masked a little bit because everyone's so focused on the double and maybe Brighton's recent form a little bit too.
Yeah, I feel like he's probably going to be at most teams for the free hit 34 if you're not free hit.
God, yeah.
Yeah, obviously. So he seems like a good time to buy him if you're not doing it as well. So yeah, like the Brighton players. And then again, just on other targeting Leicester and Saints. So Villa are obviously playing Saints this weekend.
Yeah.
We're expecting probably big rotation around Champions League, just like Arsenal. Who is likely to play? Like, honestly, I have no idea, to be honest. Rodgers, though, at 5.6 million, 19% owned, so he's still a decent sort of sub differential. Yeah, he has actually started every game in the Premier League except when he's been banned from yellow cards.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, so he is obviously first choice.
Starts.
Yeah, but he's gonna. That means he's gonna start the Champions League games as well. So is the Saints away fixture a perfect time for a rest? Yeah, most likely, to be honest. It does seem like it. Yeah, 2, 7, 3, 10, and 9. Obviously, that's decent form. Yeah, like I said, a Jacob Murphy replacement for double game week 33 seems pretty good. But at the same time, you miss this really good fixture in Saints away. Yeah. So it's awkward, isn't it? Like it's just impossible to know who's actually going to play that team. So Emery is prime for rotating. We've seen like Konsa, who seems to be completely nailed on. He's even been rested now. So it's just, I don't know. Is Konsa going to play this week? He's in my team. I need him to play. It's just, I'm starting him. So yeah, I need him to play. Yeah, hopefully something good happens. But Rashford as well, only started once in the Premier League, the last 6. He's got on early subs when he has started as well. And exactly the same situation for Asensio. Yeah. Been a little all over the place. And those 2 on paper seem like good options. Or punty options for the double, of course, and obviously Southampton away. But who knows if they play? Like they probably will come off the bench, get half an hour, so maybe that's enough for Saints away, maybe, and then double coming up. Yeah, Tielemans starts every game, but he's only had 2 goals and 5 assists across the whole season, so not exactly a spicy pick. Yeah, Konsa, as I said, nailed on in the defense, but we've seen him rested now. The other defenders, other than maybe Martinez could even be benched because Olsen is a decent enough backup. So yeah, there's Mings, Digne, like Cash, like they've all seen reduced minutes recently and benchings and stuff. So they're just basically this is just a total minefield, and you cannot really pick anyone. I don't think until we know what's happening. I guess.
I think it's just almost like
it's difficult.
Yeah, you pick, like it's almost like you pick your poison, but it's doubly tricky as well because they have the potential, because they're doing so well in all the cup competitions, they have the potential to have these 2 doubles in 33, which has obviously been confirmed, and 36, which obviously relies a little bit on Spurs getting through in their European tie, which we'll sort of know a little bit more about before this deadline. But yeah, there's opportunity to have triple Villa for 33 and then also triple Villa for 36 on, which might be some people's bench boosts. It might be another triple captaincy week. But yeah, trying to firm up which is the best picks, it's just madness. Rodgers is the safest because he's like you say, he's started every game.
He has started every game, that he's due a rest, right?
Oh yeah,
because he's going to start the Champions League
maybe
too.
Get rested against PSG.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. Yeah, he is just so consistent in the league, and I don't know. Maybe why would that stop now? They've been playing Champions League pretty much all season, but
yeah, It's kind of almost like Saka-esque of just like he just doesn't get benched when he's fit, and he's just that he's played so many games when he's been young.
Yeah.
Like he got that big sort of hamstring tear. That's hopefully not kind of ruined his career going forward, because it could keep happening. And hopefully that doesn't happen to Rodgers.
Oh, absolutely. And I love a lot of their picks as well. Like Rashford, Asensio for the double game weeks are just exciting midfield picks. But between them, they're probably going to one of them's going to play about 60 minutes, and the other one's probably going to play about 70 minutes across the double game week game. So.
Yeah, Watkins as well has been benched too. Like, so he's not fully nailed on either, because they've got Marlon as well. Like, he could be a spicy pick. Like, why wouldn't he play the Saints game when they've got those other players looking for the Champions League fixture? So yeah, he's like 0 point something% owned. So he's even spicier pick. Like, so yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something to consider for this. Well, a bit of a like learning for this season, I think, and for next, with how many teams are going to be in Europe next season. It's just these teams who have not maybe been in Champions League before or European competition, and maybe don't have the squad, like just end up rotating even earlier in the season, and you're prone to be burnt a little bit by them not playing minutes. But I think we know that Rodgers plays, and so I feel like he's the most reliable. It'd almost be a surprise if the other ones started to play more regularly now, so that makes him the safest pick, I think.
Yeah, but would you bring him in for Saints away this week? Or it seems good for the double for sure, but then Saints away this week around the two ties for the Champions League?
Maybe.
Don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, it is really tough. I mean, I kind of wish I had him instead of Saar at this point, because obviously he's got the points over the last two, and Saar's done absolutely nothing. So yeah, is what it is.
Yeah. Shall I talk a little bit about double get Palace players?
Palace. Yep, go for it.
Okay. Let me have a look. Okay. Right, so just talking about Palace just generally. So I think first thing to mention, which obviously came out of the game last weekend against Brighton, is the fact that Gay's going to be suspended. So he's unable to play in this game against Man City in the first of their two double game week games. So I had a quick look. He's been so consistent this season in playing pretty much 90 minutes every game. The only game he's missed this season and not played 90 minutes was Southampton at home, which they won 2-1 and didn't keep a clean sheet in. So I think they will be affected by that. It's just going to be unusual for them. But hopefully, Chris Richards will be back in, who, from what I've read, has played really well this season. So I think hopefully. Yeah,
do you reckon they would play a 4 at the back instead?
They might do. Yeah.
Or do they always play 4 at the back? I don't even know.
I think they always play 3-4-3, don't they?
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. But I'm just thinking, who is the isn't it Richards, Lacroix, and then Gay usually? Yeah. So who's the third one that's going to play?
Who's been filling in actually?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Or maybe Mitchell's been filling in at centre back. I don't know.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. I mean, I guess Chilwell could start this week maybe, and put Mitchell into CB and Munoz and Chilwell.
Yeah, they might just change it around. So I think Palace will be, I think they will. It's undoubtedly they'll be affected by that. But I think based on how cohesive they've been recently, I don't really think that'll affect them that much.
Yeah.
So just on some of their picks, then I think Eze's obviously come into the fore recently because he's done well in the last Premier League game against Brighton with that 9-pointer. I think he's been pretty overlooked because Saar has over the season done better and he's cheaper. But last 4 games in all comps, Eze's really stepped up. He's got 2 assists, 2 goals, 1 for Palace and 1 for England. So he's absolutely in form at the moment. It's just whether you judge that price to be, if you're happy to pay extra for him. So 6.8 million. Saar's down at 5.6 or 5.7 now, I think. 5.7. So I think it's a close call between those two. I think if I still had money no object, I would probably still back the data over a longer period of time and say Saar is probably more likely to return. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, recent bias is Eze, but I would have preferred to have Eze, but that's just outcome. Yeah.
Over the course of the season, he's had Eze had 7 big chances to Sar's 17, and surprisingly, only 9 big chances created to Sar's 12. So the data for Sar is actually is stronger, but it may be perhaps just recency. It's been that Eze's just turned on a little bit of form, and maybe that will continue into the double. But yeah, if I was picking with money no object, I think I'd still pick Sar. I think most people know about Munoz. I was trying to have a look at and justify any of their other picks. I think Henderson probably seems unlikely to pick if you've got Raya in place already, but he's absolutely a fine pick with back-to-back doubles now, and Palace have got like some okay fixtures until the end of the season with Forest at home, Wolves at home, and Spurs away. I don't mind any of those 3 fixtures. Munoz, everyone seems to know about, and he just can't stop returning. And it was so like 22%. I kind of looked at their fixtures from the last game week to the end of the season, and thought, can't see that many clean sheets there. Maybe one against Southampton, maybe one against Wolves, so maybe 2. And I was like, right, I'm going to pick Sar over Munoz, and obviously he scored in that Brighton game, and Sar's done absolutely nothing from an attacking point of view in 2 good-looking games.
Luckily, we benched Sar last week for Murphy,
yeah,
so
that's true. Actually,
it was that.
That's true. We should have benched Sar the week before as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there's too much to say for Munoz. I think most people are going to have him. He's potentially got 4 games over the next 2 game weeks. Highest scoring Palace player in the last 6 weeks. I think the clean sheets are definitely unlikely this game week, away against Newcastle, away against City, although City have only scored 5 goals in the last 6 games. But he's been posting great attacking numbers. 5 shots in the box is only 2 fewer than Sar's in the last 6 game weeks. So yeah, he's getting into attacking positions. He doesn't need the clean sheets, obviously, to return. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him get an attacking return over the double game week just to cause me more stress.
I mean, yeah, that would just be points for Glasner, so okay.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah, 1 point for Glasner, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And then just a little bit just on the case for Mateta captaincy. We talked about it a little bit before because of Isak's minutes. And I think Mateta's definitely, in the last couple of games, suffered the minutes, curse if you like, because of he's coming back from his ear injury, and he's played less than 60 against Southampton, played 67 against Brighton. But if you look at his previous sort of history before that, he is a 90-minute player. 90, 90, 90, 90, 90, 89, 78, 90, 90. That's going back to game week 19 now. And he was returning pretty consistently in all of those games. So if I had a look, so since game week 20, he'd played, where's game week 20? There it is, against Chelsea. Since game week 20, he'd played 10 times and only blanked twice. And in that time, he's been averaging 7.8 points per game. So, I'd be more than happy with a, what's that, 16-point game week return from Mateta? 2 goals across the games, a couple of bonus. I think that's doable. In the return fixture, he blanked against Newcastle, but Palace absolutely battered them in that game. I had a look at the stats. Newcastle had 1 shot on target. No, sorry, they had 1 shot, wasn't even a shot on target, and they ended up drawing 1-1. It was like an own goal off Gay. And then in the reverse fixture against Man City, he scored, and I think he got a couple of bonus points. Oh no, I'm wrong. No, he blanked. He blanked in both of them. Okay. But so maybe that doesn't bode well. But I just think recent form is there apart from that Southampton game, and I don't. I think he is. If the ownership wasn't such a big gap, it'd be a lot easier to vouch for Mateta captaincy.
Yeah, the fixtures are just rough, but we're also backing them because they're a good team. So like someone's got to score, and it most likely would be him. So yeah, I don't mind it. Like it's just your risk appetite, and I feel like I'm already risking it with Glasner. Is Mateta on top of that? Like you're just double downing, as the thumbnail says, but. Yeah, I don't know. maybe put Vice on him.
Oh, the Vice captaincy is definitely firmly in place. If I hear any sort of like inkling from how that there's been a funny week in training with Isak, even though that's never going to happen, I think I would feel comfortable with captaining Mateta.
Fair enough.
And then finally on AM and assistant manager, I think probably that's the only chip we haven't covered. I'm pretty set on Glasner. I think playing the assistant manager chip is more stressful than a free hit chip because it just comes down to one manager and everything relies on the team. But I feel fairly confident about getting at least one table bonus out of Glasner this week.
Yep.
You?
I think it's the Newcastle game is more likely.
Do you think? I was the other way. I was thinking more likely the City game.
I don't know. I feel like City have been a bit better recently, but yeah.
I was thinking. The one which made me think about it was the Brighton City game in the Bank Game Week 29 when it was 2-2, and Brighton had like 6 big chances or something, and I was just thinking, Palace will eat that up. So I feel confident that Palace's stats are good. I think I read that if the league had started on the game week 6, Palace would be in the top 4 at the moment because their form's been good. And I think they haven't. Let me just double check this. I think they haven't lost away from home since it's some hell of a long time. They haven't lost away from home since game week 8, and they've only lost away from home 3 times. That was game week 1, 6, and 8. So they've been pretty resilient on the road. So yeah, a couple of draws.
Yeah, ideal.
A couple of draws would be good. Yeah, so I kind of think
goals.
Yeah, Glasner, it gets similar to how I'd say 12 to 18 points. I reckon.
Yep.
And we'll see. I might even keep it on Glasner for the double game week in 33 as well.
I don't see why you wouldn't, right? It's the double. So.
Well, it's just that is Arteta's ceiling a bit higher when he's got.
Of course, I forgot about that. Yeah.
And then Palace, who might also by then be looking at the FA Cup semi-final like a few days later.
Yeah, Gabriel down to Kivior would give me enough to get Arteta as well.
Oh, really?
So,
okay.
Yeah, but then I probably wouldn't be able to get Rodgers as far as I know. So I think I'd probably just leave on Glasner because you're looking at table bonus for Arsenal at least, and then Bournemouth. Well, I don't know where.
Bournemouth.
Is that a table bonus?
No, it wouldn't be.
Not quite.
No.
Yeah, they're probably around each other, aren't they?
Yeah, but that's at home. So that would probably be an 8-pointer. You'd expect to win. So. Yeah. Could be good. So yeah, cool. I'm quite happy with Glasner this week.
Yep.
Right, should we talk about our teams and wrap up? And if anyone's got any more questions in the chat, I've been trying to reply to them when we've been going. But yeah, if anyone wants to chuck any questions out, please do. Right, let's have a look at your team first. There you go.
Yeah, pretty much the same as last week. Pope at home for Pope in goal, of course, for the double. I'm starting Agbadou at the moment just because O'Shea against Chelsea doesn't seem great. Concert, hopefully he plays. Vardiol against Palace. Palmer at home to Ipswich sounds good. Murphy in the double. Sarr in the double. Salah, West Ham at home. Hopefully he can start to return again. Marmoush, Crystal Palace at home. Mateta vice at the moment, and then Isak captain right now. Frank is currently assistant manager, but it will be Glasner. I'll make that transfer. And then I'm looking at Saka is benched at the moment because we both think he probably will not start. Because I don't know who he would ever start in front of there. It would probably be Marmoush is probably the only one I'd bench him for. So and then Gabriel probably to Kivior to then play ahead of Agbadou seems kind of fine. That's probably what I'm doing because I think I've got 2 free transfers.
Yeah, nice.
But I'm going to have to use one of them obviously on Glasner. So that seems fine.
No, I like it to be honest, and that gives you a bit of money to play with if you want to do Arteta maybe the next week or Rodgers or Arteta or something like that. So I'll have a few options. Nice. All right. Let's jump over. Kind of similar really. Raya in goal already. Milenkovic, I'm happy to play this week at home to Everton. Needs one of his bullet header specials, I think, this game week.
That could happen for sure. Yeah.
So I've already made one transfer, which is probably not great for this week. Vardiol, I don't want him just to keep killing me, and I do think City's fixtures until the end of the season are probably quite nice for some clean sheets and motivation. So yeah, they've obviously got the double next game week. Then in 36 they might have another double. They've obviously got Wolves, Bournemouth, Southampton, Fulham. So they've got some good fixtures. I don't really regret not getting him because I kind of thought Arsenal would get 2 clean sheets, and maybe they would have if Gabriel hadn't got injured. But it's just anyway.
I mean, I had Vardiol, but your team looks much better than mine now. So swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, just annoying really. And then anyway,
not playing Konza.
Well, I don't know who I'd play him instead of, really. Yeah. Maybe I'd play him instead of Gvardiol, but, like had last week, Consa had a random benching out of nowhere, and let's don't fancy that. But he
I thought,
does look good.
yeah, it could be the week where they just like they concede the Saints as well. You know, they'll probably win the game, but they'll concede on something.
Yeah, well, I think they'll probably if they got one eye on PSG as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
It might be tough. So yeah, otherwise pretty much similar team really to you. Burn is playing, and then I'll do Glasner at the end of the week. Yeah, no, I think it should be like I said to you the other day, I think because we're so heavy into chip season, everyone seems to be running different strategies. There's going to be loads of bench boosts this game week, maybe even more triple captains on Isak, and obviously assistant managers to compete with too. So I think by the end of game week 34, should have a better read on how things are really.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. I think we've both climbed quite well recently, so hopefully we can stay here or go up for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like Glasner's definitely the most punty of the AM chips this week. I think Howe is obviously the safe pick, but I'm hoping if Glasner landed a draw and a table win, you're looking at like 45 points.
Yeah, it could be huge.
And I think and Howe just can't get to that level.
Yeah, like it's definitely be better than bench boost as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, way better.
I mean, but it's so swingy. He could end on like 2 points. So, but I think you just take the chance.
Yep.
Right. Cool. Wrap it up there.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We'll be back next week to go over another double game week. Game week 33. Busy.
Indeed.
Cool. All right. Catch everyone later. Bye bye.
All right. Cheers all.
Bye bye.